You are on the lifeboat. Let me get everything squared away here, people. Pardon me. But once again, we will be going old school as Mr. Mark Wages is still under the weather. He is out of the hospital and home, which is good news. But he's still got some issues, and he can tell you all about them when he comes back. I figure that's anything that is even remotely personal. I will allow Mark to address that on his own. But thoughts and prayers, for Mark would be a good idea. We keep those going. He reached out and was enthusiastic about trying to come on and participate in the live feed today. I didn't think that was a great idea, especially considering he was just getting out of the hospital as of yesterday. So I wanted him to take a little time to recuperate. I think everybody can probably agree on that. I see Chi-Chi, I see Alan Ballantyne, Charlie Mullins. Alan, great to see you. Charlie, good to see you. Chi-Chi, always a pleasure. And we're going to have some people that are just watching. It's always nice too. It's great that you get an opportunity to check out the Lifeboat Live, see what we're doing, see if it's a fit. Andrea Tillett, glad you are here. Miss V, very happy you're here. I hear just dealing with noise. Oh, I'm here just dealing with noise. That's still going on. I am sorry to hear that. Really sorry to hear that. Grizzly Heat, always great to see you, Grizz. You're in our thoughts and prayers as well, Grizz. I know you're having some back pain kind of issues, and we're keeping you in our thoughts as well. So today, people, I'm going to have an opportunity to talk about a subject that is near and dear to my heart. It's an expression that gets bandied about a lot in our culture these days, what it means to have someone's back. That's what we're going to be talking about today. But I do want to get one or two things out of the way. Kind of wish some of the other people were here to hear this. However, I will just address it. So oftentimes when we do videos, we try to get a point across. And there are times that works beautifully. Seventh Son, good to see you. There are times that, what I'm trying to get across comes across, and there are times it doesn't, apparently. And on those times, I do want to make sure that there's no miscommunication. I don't ever want to find ourselves in a situation where somebody misunderstands what it is that I was saying. And on this morning's this morning's video, I was talking about Black Friday, and I was talking about commercialism. And there was a comment, and I believe the person that put it up may have taken it down because I read the comment but wasn't able to find it when I went to comment on it. And a lot of times that means that somebody removed the comment before I get a chance. But what the individual said was that it's called the free market system, and we wouldn't have a country without it. People, if for a hot second anybody misunderstood what I was saying this morning about commercialism, people, I am a capitalist through and through. Prior to becoming the captain of the lifeboat, I worked in the business world. At one point, I was the president of a publicly traded company. I have sold at one time or another just about everything. Jamie, great to see you. I was very involved in different types of sales. I was somebody that storyboarded and put up infomercials, which is you talk about the free market system. I am a firm believer. Oculi Mortis, great to see you. Good to see you, my friend. I am a dyed-in-the-wool, full believer in the free market system. Love it. Love capitalism. Love everything about it. I think it is the best of the systems out there. Some of them look great on paper. Right? They all look good on paper. I don't discuss politics. We've talked about this. But, geez, if for a second that what you got out of that when I talked about commercialism, what I was saying, people, is that very oftentimes the spirit of the holiday becomes the spirit of the purchase. And the spirit of, the people on Madison Avenue determining what we need, right, versus or what we want turning into what we need. And that's really what I was talking about with commercialism. The holidays across the board are supposed to, in theory, be times that you spend with your family, right? Things like that. So when I made a comment about the fact that Walmart yesterday will do more business in one day than many, many of the countries around the world, tons of them actually. More business will be generated in one day for Walmart than the gross domestic product of countries on their own. I wasn't bad-mouthing the free market system, not for a hot second. I'm happy for Walmart. I really am, and I believe that the cream will rise to the top in terms of who markets the best. No problem with that. That's not what I was getting at. What I was getting at is that, unfortunately, there are times that it seems that our love ends up with a price tag on it. And instead of concentrating on the really important things, I shared the other night about a Christmas that I spent, locked in a room with a dress, with a suicide smock on. And the spirit of the holiday that year was incredible. It was really humbling to see what Christmas could be when you stripped away all of that. But for the love, trust me when I tell you that I'm not bad-mouthing the free market system, and if it came across that way, I really apologize. Maybe it was the 6 a.m. Time that I was filming. Maybe it was the fact that I slept on the couch again because we have a lot of guests here, and I'm taking care of a dog that's slightly older than I am, and that's not in dog years. We're talking about a very old dog. Let's say that he's so old that teaching him new tricks is probably not, not in the cards, so to speak. But people, I have nothing against the free market system. There, I feel a whole lot better having said that. The topic today that I would like to, CT, oh, that was you. No, I assure you, what I was saying, well, you just heard me, obviously, or you wouldn't have heard what I was saying. No, I have nothing against the free market system. I absolutely adore it. And especially when it runs the way that it's supposed to. I won't get into politics, but sometime I'd love to talk about it with you. But we're on the same page. I'm a huge fan of the free market system. It's just that commercialism, when it comes time to the holidays, becomes, a lot of times the pressure of the shopping season actually short circuits the holiday pleasure for a lot of people. I was referring to commercialism, not. I'm happy for Walmart, and just briefly, when we talk about the richest people on the planet, the Waltons very rarely get thrown into that mix, and the reason for that is because when Sam Walton died, he broke his fortune up among all of his kids, and there was a ton of them. If Sam Walton had held on to all of those assets himself and held them personally, he would be the richest man in the world. But he broke that up anyway. I digress, and we don't, do the politics thing. But I don't want anyone thinking that for a second I don't like capitalism or I don't like the free market system. That's simply not the case. Commercialism. I don't like it when the holidays end up with a price tag on them. And I was really talking more about how impressed I am. But yeah, that Black Friday thing gets to be, gets underneath your skin. I went shopping today, people. I went out and got some gifts for the people that I love. Part of that is a lot of fun. It's great buying gifts for people that you love, but the wrestling for the parking spaces and all of those things, let us just say, I was able to put into practice an awful lot of the things that I talk about here every day. All right, taking the outside events that tend to shape your attitude and actually work on them so that I didn't allow them to get me feeling a specific way. I'm sorry, I'm sure that on this microphone you can hear this soda being poured. Great microphone. A lot of love to Lady Fiona Crispin's boy for helping me pick this out. This was a very good investment for the boat. Chichi says, I appreciate homemade gifts more than anything. I'm a fan of that. I told my daughter, and I did it on FaceTime, and she looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. Oculi, I spoke to Deja yesterday, and she's just going through some stuff. Currently, she could probably use our prayers. She's got some pretty serious stuff going on with her throat. CT555 says, I spent 10 holiday seasons behind bars, and that was worse than my past drug addiction. The holidays while incarcerated are really the toughest thing. It's almost impossible to articulate. The best holiday that I spent in there was the one that I talked about the other night, but it was just because of the connection. You know, there was a guy who had to spend 4 hours with me, then leave, and then another guy would come on and spend 4 hours with me and then leave, and getting to know these people and them bending over backwards to try to create a holiday for me was really, I don't know, it was something special. But I'm glad that you're here, CT555, because some of the references that I make today will probably hit home with you more than some of the others. Because the subject for today, people, is having someone's back. Saigon, good to see you. And I'll tell you something, people. This phrase gets used a lot in society today, right? Hey, I got your back. As CT555 could tell you, and anyone else who has spent time on the inside, when you say I've got someone's back, right? If you say to somebody, I've got your back, it really means something different. And it's one of those things that if you've spent any amount of time in there at all, when you leave, no matter how much you try to leave all of that behind, that's one of those things that will sort of follow you out. It did for me. If somebody says, hey, you got my back, in the past, I might have just said, sure, yeah, I got you. But when you're inside, it means something completely different. And what it really boils down to is that you're willing to go and fight for this person, right? If this means going and grabbing a weapon or doing whatever you have to do. I was in some federal penitentiaries where you can't go to the shower without someone having your back. So when you go down and get in the shower, there's somebody that stands there with boots on, making sure that nobody comes in there and tries to do anything to you while you're in that vulnerable position, in their, in your birthday suit, hosing off. They want to make sure that nothing happens to you. And that was one of those situations that, to have someone having your back, that really was it meant something. It meant something very serious. And I'll tell you, when I got out into the free world and I started to adjust to society, you hear people say that all the time, but I never really got the feeling that anyone had my back until just recently. And there are a lot of people here that are crew members on the lifeboat that have demonstrated time and again that these people have my back, for whatever sort of comes down the pike. There are people on the boat who I can reach out to at any time, and they're there for me in ways that, some of them I can discuss here on the channel, and some of them are quite personal. But it's amazing that you can meet somebody in this kind of a environment, because obviously, people, we're not sitting, eye to eye. You all have the ability to see me, but for the most part, what do I look at? I look at an icon, right? What do they call those things? Starts with an A. Avatar, right? You got these little avatars that are this big, and that's for a lot of people on the lifeboat. That really is all I have to go on in terms of seeing people, knowing people, is that little avatar. But some of the relationships that I have been able to build, sorry, I got to adjust this here. Some of the relationships that I have been able to build using just, the online format, I am absolutely blind. There we go. It's honestly taken my breath away. Just how much you can build a relationship with no, person-to-person contact. Never shaken these people's hands. I've never sat and looked them in the face. But I have people that if the chips were down, I can call them and they will literally come to my rescue, in so many different ways. Now, I think that this is not unique for me. There are so many people who have said since the boat got started, I get emails from people that say it's amazing how much I have come to count on all of the other crew members on the boat. The lifeboat page over on Facebook has swelled. I can't remember exactly what we have. We're over 120, I think, over there, and the numbers just keep going up every day. And the interplay on that particular part of the social media platform that we have here at the Lifeboat has just been amazing. Hey, it is the Chili Mancer. Donnie, it's always great when you stop by. Mr. T is also here. Boy, we got the gang is here on this Saturday. People, I love the Saturday live feeds. I really do. See, Chi-Chi says, that's because we are a bunch of strangers who grew to be friends, which turned into our family. You know, I really believe, Chi-Chi, that you nailed that. You know, that really is what is happening. I get people who reach out to me from, hey, Rose, how are you? Good to see you. I get people that reach out to me and say, you know, I'm going through a bad time. People in other countries. I spent probably 2 or 3 hours with somebody the other night on a phone call, and this person doesn't even live in the States, and they were going through a time and a situation where they felt like their sobriety was in play, I guess would be a way to put it. They have reached a point where I'm back. Those pesky river rats scored a touchdown on us. I am terribly sorry, Oculi. I know that this is a big day, right? This is the Ducks going, so I know that Oculi is going to be splitting his time between here and a television set. But yeah, we really have become a family. And, you know, here was somebody having a very difficult time, and I was able to help this person from all across. Wow. He says, Tommy, you are my favorite captain that I know. Well, thank you so much. That means a lot to me, Saigon. It really does. Today when I went shopping, I wore my my sweatshirt again that said, it's the Lifeboat, never quit quitting. The number of people today that walked up to me and said, man, I love that shirt. It really, Saigon, you nailed it. That was such a great slogan for the, for the shirt. There were so many people. Everywhere I go, people take the time to point that out and talk about how much they love the shirt. But back to the subject matter at hand. Go ahead, throw a squirrel up there. But back to the subject matter at hand of having each other's back. I know that we live in a cyber world and that this is a cyber boat. The one thing about the environment that we're in, obviously, people, I can project a boat behind me, or I can project a city skyline. I can do an awful lot using green screen or playing with it, and that creates an illusion. But the one part of this that most assuredly is not, thank you, Oculi, the part of this that is most assuredly not an illusion is the kind of friendships that are being built here, and how individuals really begin to start leaning on one another as they're going through tough times. There are bunches of people right now on the Lifeboat who are experiencing health trouble. It's a tough time of year worldwide. We've had so many people that are sick. There are so many people that are injured. We've just had a lot of people that really, really are going through it. But it's really comforting to me to see everybody reach out to those people. As much as it's essential to feel like you've got someone who has your back, the hardest part of this, and this is something that we've discussed before, and we will probably keep pounding into everybody for as long as we possibly are able to do so, is that it doesn't matter how much someone wants to help you if you do not say, I need help. There are people that love to argue that, obviously you're not going to get sober until you're ready to get sober. I don't think that there's any argument, right? Until someone really makes the full commitment, then they're going to have a difficult time getting sober. And there are a lot of people that will say, and you do it on your own. I realize that you're the person to say no every time the opportunity comes up for somebody to use. Trish, good to see you. But no matter what is going on in your life, having somebody there to just say, hey, I'm with you. Having somebody there to just say, I know what you're going through, or I've been there. Even if it's, there are so many times that somebody reaches out and the problems that they have are beyond, something that the host of a YouTube channel can do to help. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a counselor. I'm a recovering drug addict. But the idea was that I'm of the firm belief that talking about what is going on in your life is therapeutic. Whether you're talking to someone with a bunch of initials after their name or you're just talking to people who have all been in the same boat before, there is something very therapeutic about that. And it has become, as we've said, the gold standard in all forms of rehabilitation, regardless of what it is you're recouping from. Obviously not physical, but if you're struggling with anything emotionally or mentally, the idea of putting a room full of people who have all gone through the same thing together really does amazing things to help. And it really is a beautiful concept that this can be done virtually the way that we're doing it now. But you're not going to get the support, the love, the help, the prayers, all of it, unless you reach out and tell somebody, regardless of what it is you're going through. Saigon Cinnamon says, I feel like a part of my soul was taken when my dog Badger passed. It is so unfair. Very, very tough. It really is. It's super tough. I've said this before. I lost a pet in 1989, and I swear to you, I am still mourning this pet. Somebody in the lifeboat chat over on Facebook put up a picture of a cat that was identical. Like, it freaked me out how much this cat looked like the cat that I grew up with. And I was 20, I believe, maybe 19. Yeah, I was 19 when we lost the cat. The cat lived to 21. So there had not been a day on this planet while I was 19 years old that this cat had not been a part of my life. And as happens so often with pets, this thing, it really did have 9 lives. There were so many times that animal was knocking on death's door and, managed to come back. But there's a great poem by Rudyard Kipling. If you've never read it, it is very worthy of looking up. But it's called Never Give Your Heart to a Dog. And it talks about exactly what Saigon's going through right now. The bond that can be created between a person and an animal is incredible. It really is incredible. So what you're going through is completely legitimate, Saigon. I mean, there is something very, very real about this. And, oh no, Oculi, I'm sorry to hear that. It's real, and it's something that is hard. And I wish that there was a magic wand, Saigon, that I could wave. But knowing that there are people here that understand is probably a start to at least, just being able to articulate that. There's tons and tons of research talking about how getting something from here to here is the very start of the healing process. When someone says out loud, I'm hurting, that goes a long way to the process, kicking that off. If you bottle things up inside, I don't think anyone wants to argue this point with me, although there are people that will. But it's a tough point to argue the other side of how bottling things up inside you can help you heal quicker, because it's simply not the case. Anytime you take emotions and you hold them in, just what we were talking about on last night's live feed, what that begins to happen, right? There's a refractory period. During that refractory period, during the refractory period, so something happens, traumatic, joyous, whatever the case may be, there is a period of time that your body adjusts to what just happened. And during that time, which they refer to as the refractory period, in a perfect world, those things are very, very short periods of time. If you win the Super Bowl, that's something that is going to be part of your daily thought process for probably a long period of time. And on the other side of that, anything traumatic, our memories are carved deeper into our brain by the more traumatic events in our life. So the mundane, the things that we go through every day, and it's, you go and you run into an old friend, or you say hi, or you do any of those things, those memories are not etched into the gray matter the same way as something traumatic is. And we talked about this. There's a reason for that. Our brain is set up, almost always, the default setting is to protect us. So if something happens that is traumatic, your brain wants to make sure you don't forget that in hopes that it doesn't happen again. So when all of the traumatic events are taking place, your psyche is carving that memory deeper into the brain and deeper into the brain. And what ends up happening is we end up starting that process where, that refractory period gets a little bit longer, and that offsets the mood, right? What's going on? I'm in a bad mood. Why? Well, this just happened, right? That's natural. That's just something that happens to every person. But if at month 9, you are still in the refractory period from whatever difficult thing happened to you, then that mood starts to become a temperament, right? Instead of just being, I'm having a bad mood, it literally tints your temperament. So now when people meet you, they go, boy, what's wrong with that dude, right? He's always in a bad mood. Well, if you're always in a bad mood, your temperament has been changed. And if that continues and that refractory period ends up for years, then let's be honest. There are things that can happen to an individual that are so traumatic that the refractory period could end up taking years. And if that's the case, then that mood that slides to temperament can start to become personality. All of these things, are determined by memories. So holding them inside makes the refractory period take longer. There's no two ways about it. If you sit and you hold that in and you ruminate on it and you just sit there and, go through it, the best way to start shortening the amount of time that anything traumatic lasts is to get it out of your system. Talk about it. Work through it, right? That's another one of those phrases that we hear every day. Well, it's, he just needs to work through this, or she needs to work through this. When people talk about closure, when people talk about all of these different, good to have you back, Oculi. When people talk about all of these cliches that have become just like a daily part of the vernacular, there's something that we talk about all the time in this country. All of those phrases are really nothing more than talking about working through things. Right? When you talk about closure, if you and your significant other go your separate ways without ever talking about what happened, closure is not something that you have a real handle on. And I know this. I've told this story many, many times, but I was in solitary confinement after being stabbed at Victorville Federal Penitentiary. And while I was in the hole, I got a letter that said, there are a million things I would like to say to you right now. But I think I'll just go with I want a divorce. That's how that one went down. The previous time that I had spoken to my significant other, the last thing she said was, I love you and I'll be with you forever. No lie. That's how the phone call ended. And then the very next communication I got said I want a divorce. There's no closure there. But I didn't hold it inside either. I spent a lot of time talking about that. I spent a lot of time trying to work that out in my head. And I won't lie to you, the refractory period took a long time. And there are still things, every once in a while, I'll see the car that my ex used to drive. I mean, not her car, but the identical automobile. And in 2 seconds, my head is back there. And because of how it ended, I find myself, watching a mood slide from good to bad to angry. This is how things happen to us each and every day. If we don't have closure, or we don't get to that point where we have something from our past that we have put to bed, Alan Ballantyne says, yep, mine left whilst I was at work. Haven't seen her since, and that was 14 years ago. So Alan is another person that obviously didn't get a whole lot of closure when it came to that relationship. And that's painful. It really is. But the fact that Alan can sit in this comment section and throw that out as if he was talking about a weather report probably says something, it probably says a few things. Number one, it says he's pretty comfortable with all of you, and that's awesome. But it also probably speaks volumes to how far he has come through that. If you're living in that refractory period and you still are bitter, or you're still your temperament, that mood became a temperament, then more than likely, that isn't the way that he would address it. And then Alan says, thanks guys, it hurt like hell for a while, but now it's just a lesson in life for me. Again, another shining example of what happens when you don't hold on to something. One of the things that we can do as human beings, and some people do and some people don't, is take events that we have and look at them philosophically. Like, well, it's a life lesson. I definitely learned from that. Arizona Raven says, no closure really hurts. Good to get over it also. Sometimes closure is going to happen without the assistance of other people. Did I just see Rip? I did somewhere. Or did I see somebody addressing Rip? Rip, if I didn't see you, good to see you, my friend. Miss V says, it makes it hard to trust again. No doubt. And coming off of my ex, coming off of how that relationship ended, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that I was pretty gun shy. But I have been fortunate, and a lot of it through the lifeboat, in creating closure. I didn't get a chance to sit down and hash this out and say things to her, but I did the same kind of things that I tell people about. What if the closure that you're seeking you need from someone who's already passed away? Well, that's kind of how I treated the ex. I wrote a really, really scathing and ugly letter, which I never mailed. And since then, I've written about 5 more. And it's funny because each time I've done it, they've been less scathing and ugly and have ended up more sort of philosophical. Saigon Cinnamon says, to everyone that has left, abused, or neglected us, it's their loss because we are amazing and give love like no other. Yeah. Oh, Saigon, that's awesome. It really is. That's awesome. This is, I've said this before. I will say it again. If you just show up on the deck of the lifeboat and you've never been to one of these live feeds and you pop in, one of 2 things is going to happen. You're either going to go, this is an amazing group of people. I have never seen so much support and love in one place. The other option is we scare the hell out of you. And I've gotten emails from both sides of that coin. I've had emails from people more in the positive. In fact, a great many of you are here today. People who emailed me and said, the comment section here is so different than anything I have ever seen in cyberspace. Certainly anything that, people have run into on the tube. It really is very, very different. Charlie Mullen says, the boat is a great place to be. Full of hope, 30 years married, sober for years. He sat down and told me he was moving out. No arguments, nothing. 3 years ago, and we are friends now. I really respect anyone who has been able to maintain a friendship with an ex. I would have loved that. There were parts of my ex-wife that were just so much fun. I really would have been very happy if we could have maintained a friendship of some kind. Obviously, that was not in the deck, because somewhere along the line, it went from this boat is ironclad. Well done, Oculi. Old Ironsides. Somewhere along the line, and this happens often, people go from love to hate in the right as fast as you can snap your fingers. 1 minute someone loves you rather, and the next minute they hate you. And I've always been blown away by that. It's not something I've ever been able to do. I kind of wish I could. I know that doesn't sound like something I should say, but I pray for especially my first ex. I pray for her every day. That I'm never going to stop loving that woman. I certainly could not be with her, but I have an amazing amount of love for that person. However, it seems very oftentimes, and maybe it's me, I'm willing to chalk up the fact that I was a pretty big jackwagon, prior to 6.5 years ago. But 1 minute these people, were in love with me, and the next minute they hated me. And I think, there's cliches that have been said, and there's, theories and everything else, but apathy is awful, right? When you say to somebody, either way, I could take them or leave them. But very oftentimes, I think that love and hate are very, very close. And when people say, oh, that's crazy, if you think about it, if you love somebody, you spend all day long thinking about them, you concentrate on them, you go and you look them up online, right? You check out their channels, you check out their emails, you go and see what they're doing. If by some chance you hate somebody, what do? You think about them all day long. You go and you check out their Facebook. You check out their channels. You go and see what they're doing. There really are some very serious similarities and parallels between how we react to people that we hate and how we react to people that we love. And I think for a lot of individuals, and you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I think a lot of times as a divorce happens or a breakup happens, when they come to the realization that they're never going to be with you, like that, those days are over, and they're left with how do I cope with having this person out there that I used to love? I think for many people, it's just, you know what? I'll just go to hate. Instead of just apathy or yeah, I love them, or her. We'll just run into each other from time to time, say hello, whatever. I think I told the story. I'm sure I told the story on one of the live feeds where I pulled up next to my ex in traffic when we live in the same city, and you would have thought that I was Pinhead or Freddy Krueger. I mean, the look, cruising down the road, and she went, like it was. You would have thought maybe I had been abusive. I wasn't, but certainly the look I got was terror, and which doesn't make you feel good. It's kind of an uncomfortable thing to see in someone's eye, but this was definitely somebody that was not pleased to see me. I am breaking the rules for the holidays, people. I'm already putting on ridiculous weight. I really am. Got on the scale this morning, and I don't even want to tell you what I weighed, but suffice to say that on January the 1st, I will most likely need to add yet another resolution that I intend to do, because right now I am beefing up, so to speak. Definitely starting to put on those holiday pounds. Touchdown Ducks. Ducks up 38-21. Go Ducks. And he put a little squirrel there because he knew that I was going to check that out. See, he caught me. Can we please send prayers and healing to Lady Fi Crispin because her migraine is on the edge? Yes, absolutely we can. We have not just a crew member here, but also one of our moderators, and just a really, really sweet person. Some thoughts and prayers for Lady Fiona Crispin. Hopefully, if you... she has talked about this on the boat many times before, but she struggles with migraines pretty regularly. It's something that is a part of her life because of some things that happened with some spinal cord injuries. This is something that she wrestles with, and they're looking into different procedures and things that might be able to be done in order to work on that. But yeah, thoughts and prayers for her. Deja as well is having some strep throat issues. She also said that she's a big fan of Vegemite, and anyone who thinks they're a big fan of Vegemite needs prayers in general. I mean, the Aussies have an excuse. They start getting poisoned with that at a very young age. But for those of us in the rest of the world, I mean, it just simply doesn't make sense. Jamie Lindsay, good to see you. Welcome aboard the lifeboat. Don't know that I've had the opportunity to say that, but if I haven't before, welcome aboard. So, people, back to the subject matter that was at hand at one point, reaching out and asking for help. If there's one thing, if there is one wish that, like I could wave a magic wand, that's the skill that I would love to see the people on the lifeboat develop, and develop quickly. If I could wave a magic wand and make all of you chemical free, that would be great, right? That really would. However, there would be serious problems in life that you are going to have to cope with. We've said this in the past. If you quit using your drug of choice, you're chemical free. Doesn't mean that you're going to have the perfect life. That is a process of learning to cope with the day-to-day struggles that sobriety and non-sobriety bring. If you don't do drugs, and you never have, life still throws curveballs at you. The difference is that we're not great at dealing with those when they come down the pike. But everybody deals with that. So if I could wave a magic wand and I could make everybody sober, I would rather wave that magic wand and make it so that everybody here is comfortable asking for help, sharing whatever's going on with their life. Because what we really want more than anything here on the lifeboat is for people to learn the ability to get through the struggles that they're going to have. This is just the first one. We've said many times, getting over your drug of choice. is the starting gate. It's not the finish line. Getting over that dependency to a chemical or a habit is the start. That's base camp. Now we can start climbing Everest. And the view is amazing, right? The air is clean and beautiful. There's so much that is awesome about being sober, and you can really appreciate the bests of life. But you're going to run into struggles. We're going to get to parts of that climb that just plain stink. And we need the ability to get through those. The best hope that we have for that is leaning on one another. Having someone who what? Has your back. Yes, DJ Daddy, or as I like to call him, Mr. T. Great to see you, my brother. Always a pleasure. Hope you're having a good holiday season. I know you, like everybody else on the entire boat, I know that you were having some issues with health. Boy, people, it's been a tough time to be alive. Those last 2 or 3 months, it seems like everybody has been afflicted in one way or another with something. Or maybe I'm really just fortunate and everybody's sharing, but it really does seem that it doesn't even matter what country we're in. There was a period last week, right around the time that I was going through my stomach problem, that I know Full of Hope was wrestling with some stomach issues. A lady, Crispin, was struggling with some stomach issues. There were people in continents all over the planet that were going through the exact same thing. And there has been another announcement. Chi-Chi, you do always have my back. I mean, without fail, and I never have a doubt. The Seventh Son says, Fee isn't just a moderator, she's the moderator. It has been rumored that she might be Linda. There's no truth to that, but that has been a rumor in the past. Seventh Son, it's really funny. I was talking about you, I don't know, a few hours ago. I was shopping with some people that I'm really close with. We all went out together to go do this, and I was talking about your sense of humor and I wish, and I probably can go back and do it, but I think at some point I need to go back through all the live feeds and write down the funniest things that you have said in super chats, because some of them have just been, I mean, really, really funny. Your sense of humor comes through in those, and yeah, you sort of have set the tone too, because very often now the super chats end up being really, really funny stuff. But really do appreciate it, not just the money, but the sense of humor, because you keep me laughing. And let's be honest, people, if it's not the best medicine, it's a pretty damn good one. When I don't remember what video it was, because my life these days is a blur of one video to the next, but when we were doing a video of, what were we talking about? Coping skills, maybe? No, positivity. I think it might have been the video that we did on staying positive, and there were like 5 steps, right, to being positive, and one was trying to maintain a sense of humor through times that are tough. And if there's one thing that we all do really, really well on the lifeboat, is maintain a sense of humor. How many comments each day that come up that say LOL after them is amazing. It really is. Leisure Beast, so good to see you here. I know that you have really been going through it. Laughter and music are the best things in this world. I can't argue that, man. I really cannot argue that. And people, we don't know that we've talked about this enough, but you talk about being able to throw a switch in your mind to bring you to a different place in a different time and change a mood. It really is amazing what music can do. I mean, how many times have you been in a car or you've been anywhere and a song comes on and you go, ah, right? The smile pops up, and the next thing you know, you're right back wherever you were when that song was popular, and you were thinking about the people that you were with when you were listening to it. And I mean, in seconds, there are so many things that happen with just the, unless it's mindless thumping, says Miss V. Oh, people, if you didn't get that, Miss V is going through it. She has neighbors that, I was going to call them jackwagons. I don't know them, so I should probably, whatever. They're jackwagons. They seem to not have a tremendous amount of respect for their neighbors, and they have been cranking these things up. Chi-Chi says, I screenshot that. the seventh son and sent it to Lady Fi, and she laughed and said, "Thank you very much." See, that's awesome. That is awesome. I know that. Yeah, she had sent a thing that said, I can't remember exactly what, but it was something to the effect of, "I'm not going to be able to get on the feed," or "I'm going to get on the feed." That's what she said. "I'm going to get on the feed and I'm going to try to work, but right now I'm on the edge of a migraine." And I thought, that's probably not the place to be if you're on the edge of of a migraine. Jamie Lindsay said, "That is very true, Oculi Mortis." Oculi is, he's pretty good at the comments. Definitely something that you may or may not know, but there was a time that I used to pick comments. Like, that is what I did. I would just highlight them and comment on them, and Oculi had come through with some of my favorites, and he's always there for a solid comment, unless, however, he's watching the Oregon Ducks, which, no, he goes back and forth, but he's a big Duck fan. We won't hold that against him. No, Oculi, here's the truth. I used to be a big fan of the Oregon Ducks, but what is it with the uniforms, man? They must have 40 different uniforms. I've never seen any other team that seems to have such a wild array of raiment. They definitely have a lot of different, looks, I guess. Brandon, I hope you are feeling better. I know that Brandon started out the day not feeling well. If you caught the morning video, said that he woke up on the wrong side of the room, so to speak. When he woke up this morning, he was not feeling it at all. And we've been keeping you in our thoughts and prayers. Brandon, I hope you are feeling better. I really do. Nike, that's right. I forgot about that. That's the guy from Nike. Yeah, he's a graduate, right? What is his name? Knight. Phil? Is it Phil Knight? I don't know. I may have got that name wrong. But yeah, the guy that started Nike was an alumnus of Oregon. So, no wonder they're so hooked up. Thank you, Oculi. It's Phil, Uncle Phil. There you go. Oculi says, "I have about 30 jerseys." People, can you wrap your dome around that? That is a fan right there. That is a fan. Yes, and just back briefly to Lady Crispin. This is something that if you're full time here on the boat, we'll be going through this with Fiona. She is. This is just the nature of migraines, people. I think that there's been a lot of people on the lifeboat that struggle with this as well, and there are different reasons that people get migraines. The cause for her migraines are something that are that is less easy to treat than it is with some of the other people. Whether or not you realize, we have multiple tonsils in our body. It's not just these back here, and we have some that are near the spinal column and sort of hang down there in the back, and because of some more narrow than they should be parts of her spine, those tonsils end up rubbing, and she's going through it. And they're working on different things that may be able to help. But in the meantime, just being there for her is probably the best thing that we can do. Thoughts, prayers, and just letting her know that we're with her all the time. I have been here we go, this is real. I have been holding back on this, guys, but we had a family in a small town lose their 12-year-old daughter in a complete lost house fire early Wednesday morning. Can I ask for prayers for the family? Good Lord, yes. I am so sorry to hear that, Mr. T. Oh, my word. And at this time of year, that is absolutely awful. Yeah. My gosh. That's, of course you can. Of course you can. Thank you so much. And I feel confident that everybody on the boat would be on board for that. Cannot begin to tell you just how bad that is. It was this girl's 12th birthday. Good God. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, everybody. That is, yeah, I can't think of anything, I cannot think of anything that's more awful. That is so tough. I mean, yeah. That is awful. It really is. Leisure, thank you. Thank all of you. This is a great crew of people. And I love the fact that believer and non believer alike have no problem with the concept of energy, prayers, feelings, spells. I don't care what it is. The fact that everybody always is there and ready to jump on board to support anyone that needs that support says so much about who about who you are as people. I think Saigon Cinnamon nailed it earlier. Boy, our poor exes, huh? All of those people that walked out. Think of what they missed out on. The kindness of the people on this boat. Really, the kindness of the people on this boat is somewhat overwhelming at times. Do me a favor, DJ. Send me an email when you're done here, and we'll talk about maybe a few options. I would love to be able to reach out and maybe do something to, just send me an email. Send me an email. Leisure Beast, yes, the all credit on that goes to Saigon Cinnamon. I believe he was the one that said that. But if that doesn't sum up this group of people, this is a pretty great group. Vivian P says, I have spells I've been practicing for years. I used to have fainting spells, but that might have been drug-induced. Arizona Raven said, this is so sad. It is. And, if this were the middle of July, it would be awful. But going into this time of year, this is just going to be... and the fact that their entire house is gone, all of these things, I don't know that this could have gotten any sadder if you designed it. But all we can do at this point is... let's support with thoughts and prayers, and maybe we can figure out a way to do something else. We'll talk about that, all right? Mr. T, please reach out to me. I would appreciate that. And the reason that we're all sort of dumbstruck, I think, is because of who we are. You know what I mean? This is something that I've tried to articulate, and I don't know that I do a great job at it, but as we talked about on last night's live feed, your life is ruled so much more by emotion than it is by logic, right? And we talked about how between your conscious and your unconscious mind is the analytical mind, and the conscious and the unconscious can rule the body. So we try to keep the analytical, intact, and we try to override, the unconscious mind ruling. What goes on. When that happens, you get panic attacks, you get things that don't make sense until you logically think about what exactly is going on. Kiss Freak, good to see you. But for those of us who wrestled with substance abuse, and those of us who spent a good deal of time living in pain and living with struggle, when that is over, we tend to be, in my humble opinion, more sensitive often than other people. Kiss Freak, if you were out of here, please have a fantastic day. It's always good to see you, Chris. You're a great guy. Really a great guy. When one hurts, we all hurt. Yeah, Chi-Chi, that is really the truth. When someone on the boat, Charlie just weighed in. In fact, everybody is weighing in that they're in full agreement with that. There's a lot to be said for that. And it goes sort of ties right back in here as we get toward the end of the live feed. It really gets back to what I was talking about, what it means to have somebody's back. We're not in a place like a federal prison, right, or a state prison, where having someone's back means I'll go grab a weapon and make sure that nothing happens to you. But instead, the weapons that we have here on the lifeboat are kindness and love and prayers and positive thoughts and feelings and emotions. And when you have a group of people this size that all are pulling in the same direction, I'm not trying to one-up you. No, I don't think that you are. But I feel your pain. I lost my son to the CMAth this past year, and I've never got to see him after he was born because of the CMAth. Oh, my word. You know something? Never feel like you're trying to, like you can't say that because of a one-up thing, Jamie. This is really the nature of what we do. There are going to be times where, this was the moment that you felt that you could share this with the group. Do not feel bad about that, or do not feel like you were trying to one up or anything else. That's really what it's about. It's really what it is about. And Chi-Chi says, my weapon is my heart. I love that, Chi-Chi. I am so sorry. Honestly, Jamie, that is awful. Yeah, that is a. I can't imagine. I really can't. I don't know how to put that into words other than to say that I don't even have the hardware to imagine what that kind of pain is like. But you're in my thoughts and my prayers, and I know that the rest of the boat will be keeping you there as well. It's God Almighty. That is tough. But I thank you so much for feeling like you could share that here with us. So that can't be an easy thing to talk about, but and that's going to leave an imprint, like we were talking about earlier. I don't know if you were here, but trauma leaves a different kind of memory than other things. And you hear people talk about, a time when something happened, and you can remember the smell, and you can remember the quality of the light, and you can remember all of those things. It's because the brain imprints memories differently during really traumatic times. And Jamie, this is going to be something that you struggle with forever. That's just the reality of the kind of memory that this will put into place. But working through, and I know that that's another one of those cliches, but working through that, it's coming here and discussing this, and knowing now that when your avatar comes up here and we see your name in the comment section, it's not just seeing your name anymore. You understand the importance of sharing things like this, is because people, number one, will treat you differently. And don't ever think that's a bad thing, because it's not. Someone is less likely to say something that might hurt if they know the truth. And someone is more likely to send a positive thought and a prayer every time they see that avatar and every time they see that name. You understand the significance of that? That is huge. It really is. This is why I always say to people, if you're brand new on the boat, reach out to me and tell me where you're at in life. Tell me, and it doesn't have to just be your drug of choice, and it doesn't have to just be, tell me where you're at. Because as the host of this show, I have to do about an hour, right? And I do it once a day. So to do that takes a certain amount of time to sort of come up with what I'm going to talk about and to do all of that. But the part of this job, if you want to look at it that way, that is more important than anything else is the interaction between me and all of you. I mean, to me, that's the most important thing that I do here, is knowing that, what it means to build a relationship, to have someone's back, to know that they have mine. And looking here, when you see me scroll down and I look and I see Chi-Chi, and I know everything there is to know about Chi-Chi. I really do. I know Chi-Chi's story really well. I would say I know a great deal of it. I don't know everything. Charlie Mullins, I know Charlie's story, and it's amazing. And now I look down the list, and you're the next name on there, Jamie. And honestly, now when I see that name, I'm just going to say a quick prayer. And I believe in that. Whether anyone else does or not, I believe in that. And yeah, Daniel, thank you. That was a lovely comment. But I can't thank you enough for feeling confident enough to share that here. And to all of the moderators, thank you for running a ship that allows people to feel confident that they can be open to something like that. That's absolutely amazing. Truthfully. Thank you, Chi-Chi. I really appreciate that. It's a lovely thing to say. But make no mistake, I'm here because of all of you. So I don't know if it's a chicken or an egg thing, but I am here because of all of you. And when someone says something about what I do here, make no mistake about it, I get more out of this than you do. I will be more than happy to have all of your backs. but it feels phenomenal to know that almost all of you have mine, and that's humbling. It really is a beautiful thing. I am grateful to gather whatever pieces of peace that I may. Wow, I like that. I think that that's probably everybody's goal all year long, certainly at this time of year, to get as much peace as you possibly can. And what we do here is the chicken came before the egg, but I won't get into that. Oculi, I would like to have that discussion with you at a later date, really. And Denise says, my prayers are with you. That's mine too. I'm telling you, it's, yeah, this is quite a crew of people, and this has really been a pretty heavy demonstration of that. It's times like this that getting off a live feed just doesn't feel right. It really doesn't. The good news, I guess, this time is because, or not this time, but what makes it a little easier this time is because in 2 hours we're going to be right back here. I would encourage everybody to come back. We had a really good turnout. Amazingly, I saw mostly the same names, but because we usually get some people from other countries that pop in, and we did see some people from some other countries today. But in 2 hours we will be back doing another live feed. There is one person who very in particular had my back in the last 3 days, and all of you have. But one person did something so above and beyond the call, and maybe at some point I can, yes, same bat time, same bat channel. At some point I may be able to share this with the entire group. But to that person, because I know that they're probably listening, thank you. Thank you. You're my hero. Real talk. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being here. I will be back. Same bat time, same bat channel, 2 hours from now. People, I normally would say at this point, they have but one assignment between now and then, and I want you to reach out and I want you to try to save somebody. People, I'll give you 2 assignments, right? The second one would be, please keep all of those people in your thoughts and in your prayers, the ones that shared with us today. Daniel Groth in Sweden, I am just happy that you made this one, Daniel. Thank you so much for being here, and you get a good night's sleep, my brother. Between now and then, people, thoughts and prayers for everyone who needs it. Send out the energy. Do whatever it is that you do, because there are people that are hurting. Jamie Lindsay, God bless you. Mr. T, to the family out there, God bless them. And to all of you for lending your support to all of these people. You guys are the best. You girls are the best. For real. This place is special, and you make it that way. I will see you on the next live feed. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and I am out of here. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.